Greetings. Here I am back again. Welcome to Conversations with Ed. And boy, we're going to have some fun tonight. You know, most of the time we're talking about serious subjects on here, and you know I do a lot about the veterans things. In fact, in a minute you're going to see I got another vet up here, but he's the old timer. We won't say nothing until we get him up on the screen. But anyhow, first let me say my big ups. You know who you are, Peggy. Always say hi to you, Dorothy. Nurse Diane, Nurse Linda, got to say hi to my buddies, and you guys need to get out there. Once again, I'm going to tell you every week, get out there and get your benefits. They're waiting for you, okay? Last week, as you know, we had the veterans from McGuire VA Hospital, the public relations and the outreach in here. Don't forget those dates, November the 7th at McGuire VA Hospital and November the 15th, the big day. That's the stand down. So if you know any veteran that's homeless, or you know any veteran that doesn't have suitable food or clothing or anything like that, let them know. Be at the VA Hospital, McGuire VA Hospital, November the 15th for the stand down. Where all the military people know what a stand down means. It means you drop everything and you focus on one thing. Well, we're focusing on helping some of our brothers and sisters who are not as fortunate. And you know, that's what we're all about. And that's what we're going to talk about today, but we're going to include a little bit of music. I got some musical legends here from Richmond, Virginia, and they're going to bring a little God up in this house, up in this station. I know you see a lot of crazy things on this station, but tonight, I think you're going to enjoy yourself. We're going to start out by just putting a little bit of video on, let you see firsthand who these gentlemen are and who the people are here to represent them. Can we do that, guys?
Being a gospel great doesn't always mean selling 1 million records or being known worldwide. Take this week's gospel great honorees, for example. They have a big name in a small town. They're called the Soul Seekers. Their name says it all. The Soul Seekers developed a spirit-filled sound when they first formed in Mechanicsville, Virginia in the fall of 1963 at First Union Baptist Church. But the name Soul Seekers has never really been theirs exclusively. Beginning with the famous original Soul Seekers of New Orleans in 1939, a number of other groups both before and after this one, and from as far away as England, have called themselves Soul Seekers as well. But none of that mattered to the folks of Mechanicsville. That's because this down-home gospel sound, crafted by 9 devoted soul-seeking singers, is definitely theirs and theirs alone. More than simply singing God's praises, the Soul Seekers of Mechanicsville have a proud tradition of community activism, from raising money for scholarships to organizing voter registration drives and collecting gifts for the needy at Christmas time. But their biggest passion is spreading the greatness of gospel through song. They don't have Grammys or gold records. They're not in the Hall of Fame. But for more than 40 years, they've been able to sustain themselves and their church community by writing, performing, and recording their songs their way. And for that, the Soul Seekers of Mechanicsville, Virginia, are this week's Gospel Greats.
Please welcome the Soul Seekers of Mechanicsville, Virginia.
It was early one Sunday morning, while attending the morning service, I felt a strange but wonderful feeling flowing through myself. Oh, right then I realized it was the Spirit of God calling me. Then all my cares and sorrows seemed to vanish in thin air. Oh, the Spirit came upon me and said, son, I do care. Oh, Jesus took my burden, took all my burdens. I could no longer bear. their backs on you. But remember that there is Jesus, whose arms are open wide. Talk it over with him, trust in him, he'll be your guide. Oh, he won't leave you alone, never ever leave you lonely. He'll always be right there. He'll always be there. I know my Jesus cares. Sometimes when you're feeling lonely, thinking of all that you've been through, it may seem like all your loved ones have turned their backs on you. But remember that there is Jesus, whose arms are open wide. Talk it over with him, trust in him, he'll be your guide. Oh, he won't leave you alone, never leave you lonely. He'll always be right there. He'll always be there. I know my Jesus cares. Jesus took my burden, I could no longer bear. Only love and trust, only love and trust him. Meet you in the air. Sometimes when you're feeling lonely, thinking of all that you've been through, it may seem like all your loved ones have turned their backs on you. But remember that there is Jesus, whose arms are open wide.
Okay, just to give you a little taste of what this is all about, now I'm going to introduce you to one of the originals and one of the kids, okay? First of all, we have Deacon
Jesse Howard.
Jesse Howard.
Jesse
Deacon
Howard.
Jesse Howard. And this is when I'm teasing him. You know, Army guys always tease each other, especially if there's no Marines around.
Absolutely.
All right, tell us your name.
Gary Brooks.
And I say he's the kid because he didn't join the group until 1969. The original started in 1963.
63.
All right. Why do we have the Soul Seekers on my show? And why would I be featuring a Christian group? Well, the first answer would be, I think we need to get a little bit closer to God,
Amen.
especially with what's going on in this world today. And secondly, one of their members is a friend of mine. And when he showed me the tape, I said, yeah, you know what? I know most of Richmond knows about these guys, but there's some things they don't know. And that's what we're going to talk about tonight. Okay, so with that being said, I want you guys to just feel comfortable, and as we say, it's a conversation with Ed. Put the phone numbers up because I know they have a lot of fans that are going to want to be tuning in and calling in right away to wish them big ups and tell them they like the way they look. Haven't seen them in a while. Okay, but why don't you start out? And the reason I'm Avon White, who's not here,
Yes.
that's the one I said has become a friend of mine. Avon and I are working on a project together, and during some of our conversations, he started bragging about the Soul Seekers, and he started telling me all the community things that you guys do. And I was very impressed. I was very impressed because, as you were saying earlier, there's a lot of takers.
Right.
Okay? And there are a lot of people who act like they're giving.
Right.
But when you got a group of guys that have been together for 50 years and are recognized for their good works, and then when I meet, like I met you guys tonight, the vibe comes right off of you. You can feel it. That's why, I don't know if you saw, when I came in, I stepped back again, because it's a strong vibe.
Thank you.
I stepped in the door and I had to step back. The Spirit is with you. And I'm not somebody that walks around with praise the Lord all the time, okay? I can tell you that.
Amen.
But when it's there, it's there. Okay, now why don't you start out by telling us a little bit about some of the community things that you're involved in.
Well, some of the things. First, years ago, we did a program called Operation Santa Claus. And with that program, we provided roughly $75,000 worth of canned goods and food and clothing and toys around Christmas time. We really planted a seed so other people have picked it up and carried it on.
In Richmond.
And in Richmond and surrounding areas.
What made you decide to do that?
it was one of those things where we are often spoken to. I don't know how to, another way to say it, we're spoken to and we said do it. Mm-hmm. It was kind of my idea, and we combined, called Operation Santa Claus, because I was in the military. Operation Santa Claus, we had the National Guard involved, and we just went on from there, on and on from there, and just boiled right over to everyone jumped in and joined on the bandwagon, and it grew out. We just grew out of proportion, and it was very, very successful.
Is it still going on?
Well, we don't do that program anymore. It's been years ago. It's not still going on, but that's one of the things we've done.
Okay.
But we love to work with the children, the youth, because we ourselves, Jess and I, we're product of a good church youth program. No other way to put it. Because the Soul Seeker.
Isn't that what's missing there?
That's what's missing, because we originated at First Union Baptist Church in the
Youth
basement
program.
on a youth program. He's one of the original ones. He can probably tell you more about that program.
Well, tell us.
Well, talking about the programs at our church, First Union Baptist in Mechanicsville, at that time it was Dr. B.S. Giles. He was youth-oriented. He was a very youth-oriented person. Mm-hmm. His mindset was that these are the people that's going to run the church later in life. These are the guys that's going to be a part of the Baptist General Association. He had us connected to everything dealing with the Baptist General Organization around the United States. But speaking of the Soul Seekers, we originally started thinking we were going to be rich. We thought we were going to have fame. We thought we were going to have plenty of women. But over the years, God instilled in us to help somebody. So that's been the major cause for us singing over the years was seeking to help people, whether it be children, elderly. We go into the convalescent homes. We're going to nursing homes. We go into at Christmas, we do a fundraiser in Petersburg, Virginia. Every year, we go in and do a Christmas concert for them. So we've been involved in the community for about 50 years now. We even over the years, we did a voter registration program, which was done at the church on Lee Street.
On East Street?
Yeah, on Lee Street, right around from Walker School.
Oh, yeah.
It was one of the biggest ever done. We even got a chance to do stuff for the NAACP in the Richmond area. We've even had a chance to sing for and to Dr. Joseph Lowry. We just been doing that what God instilled in us to do, help somebody, and that's what we've been doing.
Well, I understand that you do something clinic-wise with prostate cancer.
We are a testimony of our test. 4 members in the group have actually had prostate cancer. Myself, I'm a cancer survivor. On May 1st, I was declared cancer-free.
Good for you.
Yeah,
okay.
Cancer-free. And from that, we go out and we talk to men all over. Wherever we go, we talk. We do not waste the opportunity to talk to people about prostate cancer. Avon Gerard, I worked directly with the American Cancer Society, and they went before Congress to speak about cancer.
Yes, they did.
Yes, because there is so much that we do not know about prostate cancer, and it's so readily available to, and especially black men.
Early detection.
Especially black men.
Don't want to go for the test.
Do not want to go for the test, and it's projected that 239,000 people will get prostate cancer this year, and 30,000 will die from it.
You don't have to die from it.
You do not, because it's the least, it's the smallest growth.
You know,
yes,
I do preach on here about medicine because I'm a medical miracle. I've had 18 major operations, including brain surgery, a stent in the vascular vein going through. I mean, just face saw. I mean, just a mess. But look at me, okay? Because going and getting checked.
Get checked.
Prevention works. Prevention works. Prevention works. And the fact that you guys, being victims of, if that's the right word, have taken your experiences and turned it into a learning process, I think that's phenomenal. Is this something you want to tell this audience now that they need to be doing?
Early detection.
Early detection. Now, mine, when I was diagnosed 3 weeks after I was said I was in good health. The doctor called me, the nurse called me rather, and said, everything looks within order, you're okay. And I told him I wanted a biopsy. Less than a month later, after I got my biopsy, I was diagnosed with prostate cancer. And so you have to know, the important thing is you must know your numbers, not just your PSA. PSA, you need to know what your blood pressure, what your glucose is. You don't just tell the doctor tell you that you're okay. Ask the doctor, what are my numbers? What are my numbers? Your blood pressure, okay. Is it 180? Is it 160? Find out what the numbers are. They're very important. My PSA was 3.3. They told me I was in good shape because they don't get concerned about the PSA until it reaches 4. But since I had a history of prostate cancer in my family, I went ahead and had my biopsy done, and luckily I caught it very early. I was able to treat it earlier.
How did you treat yours?
I treated mine with radiation and the seed implant.
The two.
I did both, radiation and seed implant.
Amen.
Now, the recommendation, I mean, how long ago did you go through this?
I went through it last year.
Oh, recently?
Last year I had my seed implant was April of 2012.
Are there symptoms?
The symptoms, the sad thing about prostate, usually if you get a symptom, you're normally too late. Because symptoms are blood in the urine, blood in the semen, frequent urination. The PSA is the best detector for black males. And see, the risk factors are, one of the risk factors, one of the first risk factors is being a black male.
Isn't that amazing?
Yes, it is.
And this is a test that, again, most of our brothers don't want to go for whatever reason, and we know basically what, nobody's sticking their finger up. Well, come on.
Right, you're right, absolutely
imagine all the stuff that's going to get stuck up there if you come up with this cancer.
Right, you're absolutely right.
But as for the blood count, the blood test was the easy way to find it, but they won't do that on us. We have to ask for it.
Very interesting.
Yes, it is.
All right. Now, I have to go through the VA for testing every 6 months because of the medication that I have to take. And they do check everything. I mean, I know I'm cancer-free with all of that. But I wish there was a way to get our folks more attuned, not just to that, but to medical in general.
Medical,
no, I ain't claiming that. Nah, I ain't claiming that. What do you mean you're not claiming that? You know, no, God's going to cure it. Well, God has given you a way to cure it.
Yes,
it's called doctor.
Yes. and pray for his hands. Pray to his hands be guided.
Right. There you go. That's very interesting. Now you also do
sickle cell.
Sickle cell, you were telling me. And you know, when we started talking, you told me you go out to the VA and perform once a year.
Yes, we do. We do a Christmas concert there every year. Usually it's in December. Francine Hunter, she works with the head of the one of the ministers over there, right?
Yeah.
And they get us over there once a year to do, and it's rewarding for us to go out there to sing. If you see those guys and those women who has fought for our country, they're in wheelchairs, they're stretched out on beds, and they come in, we get a joy out of their joy, the joy that they get.
I know they appreciate it.
But it's not only the men and women who are injured, but you also have the mothers who are there.
Oh, yeah, the families.
The families there, and the mothers who come up to us and thank us because God is real. And sometimes people don't realize God is real until they hear it through music. And it's soothing. And you know, music comes from the Bible also.
Absolutely.
So it's very real. God is real.
Yes, He is.
And like we sing, not only do we help the veterans, but the mothers, the daughters, the sisters, the brothers, they all. It's a healing process for everyone.
And it carries on.
You would have to see the joy they get. And it's the chaplain over there that brings us in. Francine Hunter works with the chaplain over there.
Okay.
He knows much about us.
Well, if you're going to do it this year, I wish you'd give me a date.
We'll have to find out from Avon.
All right, let me know. Avon can give me a date also. I might be able to do something with that because I got some cameramen in there
that would
like
be great.
To go out and do some things. We might be able to film some of your concert out there.
And I myself have had 3 heart attacks. Most of the guys
Three
have
heart
had.
attacks.
Oh yeah, not because I was going to die. When I had my first heart attack, I was about 36 years old. What God showed me after having the angioplasty, you said you had some heart problem. I had the operation. It was not successful. They couldn't open my arteries. They've had me on medication for 20 years. God allowed me to have a heart attack not because I was going to die. He showed me I could live. And what I'm saying is I came home and I noticed that the grass out in the yard was green, a beautiful color green, the texture. I had been living for about 36 years, didn't even notice it, didn't take the time. So I know you heard the phrase, smell the roses.
Yes,
God gave me a chance to smell the roses. The last heart attack I had it while we were doing a concert. But
did you stay and finish the song?
No, I walked off stage. I did have to go off. After the end of the song, all the guys came to find what's wrong with Jesse. And I was going through those signs, the pain down the arm. They again, at an early age, I couldn't believe, as physical as I was having a heart attack. But we needed to get checked. And those doctors I was going, they were just, I would go when I had an illness. I would not go and get that annual
Nobody
checkup.
would go for preventive
Right.
medicine. I'm so glad that that's being so emphasized now.
We-
And speaking about testing, again, there's another illness, if that's the right word for it, that black men over 50 need to go get tested for, and that's for the abdominal artery,
Yes.
the aneurysm. And I got tested for it. My doctor is one of those guys, we have to test for this.
Early detection.
And he tested me 2 years ago, and 5 is the number that they look for, and mine was 3.7. So he said, now we're going to monitor you. So every 6 months I'd go for a sonogram, simple sonogram, 3.8, got to 4.7 last December, and the doctor looked at me and he said, my job is to save your life. So it went right inside, put the stent in the vein, right? Here I am. I'm good for another 20 years.
That's all right.
right.
But if I hadn't gone and got checked for that,
Right.
that 4.7 would have turned to 5, and then people would have been reading, Ed Coleman passed out, dropped
Obituary.
dead.
Oh, yeah.
They never say, when they say aneurysm, everybody thinks
In the
head.
head.
They don't think that it could be.
My father-in-law had one in the stomach.
In the
Yes,
stomach?
he did. They caught it in time.
They
He
caught
was
it.
he was in the hospital for something else. They were checking something else,
Right.
and they found out he was about to burst in the stomach. That one of those arteries. Oh,
So
yeah.
now have you been tested for it?
Yes, I have. Oh, yeah.
How about you?
No, I haven't been tested for that.
When you go to your
I'm
doctor,
going to
make
check
sure
on
you
that.
ask him, and all of you guys, all of us that are over 50,
Right.
I'm not going to say how far over 50, but all of you
Just a
that
little.
are over 50, there's certain things that we have to do. My dad used to tell me, well, you have to prepare for your 50s and 60s when you're in your 20s and 30s.
Right.
All right, well, mine preparing this was karate, and I stayed in it until I started having surgeries for my injuries. I started in '86, so I wound up with half a stomach in 5 months to save my right kidney. The whole thing. So I got out of practice. I got out of the dojo, I should say. I would still practice at home, but I had the doctor tell me if it wasn't for you and being in the shape that you're in, you'd be dead by now.
Right.
So when I met folks who all of you know,
He was one. He sang
was
with
one of
us.
you guys, right?
Yes, he was.
And I met him. I started a barber school training program in the Richmond City Jail. I used to be a consultant down there, and I needed a guard to guard the guys while they were in the barbershop taking class, and he volunteered. And we started talking back and forth, and the martial arts came out, so I bought him the sheet from my school and my training, and we got involved with that. Now I'm one of his associate senseis over there. I have not been able to go in the dojo. I just found out yesterday. I thought I was done. I had surgery 3 weeks ago.
Have you?
Yeah. And I went yesterday for my checkup, and I thought I was good. She said, no, you got another month before you can do that. And I'm, what do you mean? I mean, I feel great. Yeah, you feel great. But watch what happens when you turn your head. If you turn your head, because all of this was surgery again. But again, that's it. We don't want to realize that we get rusty as we get going.
Yes, we do.
Get going on. Now, why don't you tell me about some of the things that are coming up?
Well, is this Sunday we won't be singing, but we'll be at our church out in Mechanicsville. The church's 130th anniversary. We will be there.
130th anniversary.
Yes, and Avon is the minister of music at our church. So you want to hear good music? Come on out to First Union, Pole Green Road. As far as the Soul Seekers singing, we have it's a ladies' hat show, fashion show, in Tappahannock, Virginia. That's coming up in about 2 weeks. And for that information, you can get it off our website. And Gary, you help me with the website. You're the internet person.
It's thesoulseekersofmechanicsville.org. Thesoulseekersofmechanicsville.org.
Told you need a pen when you're watching this show. You always have to have a pen and pad because we give out a lot of information. And once again, that's the Soul Seekers, the Soul
The
Seekers
Soul Seekers
of
of Mechanicsville.
Mechanicsville.com.
.org.
Or .org.
O-R-G.
Oh, .org. You got that, folks?
And you can
Okay.
even hear us sing on the internet. We'll do a few songs and they'll list everywhere we're singing for the next 6 months.
Isn't that something?
Oh yeah.
Okay. So we have to check that out. But you're saying this 130th anniversary is next week?
Coming up this week.
Weekend.
This
Sunday.
coming weekend.
Yes, it is. All the Soul Seekers will be there.
And the church is,
First Union Baptist, Mechanicsville, Virginia, Pole Green Road.
it's on Pole Green.
Pole Green Road.
Where on Pole Green?
6321.
Yeah.
You got that? 6321. Tell you, write it down.
3 miles exactly once you come off of 295.
Now, I just happened to look over at the screen, and as you can see, you see my buddy up there. He's twisting my arm. He's got retired on his showing off.
Yes.
23 years?
26 years.
26 years.
26
God
years.
bless you. And I know you're happy with that.
Very happy. Had to turn over to the young kids.
Yeah, but have you seen the training?
No, I haven't.
It's ridiculous.
I haven't seen it.
It's absolutely ridiculous.
Little or none.
I'm standing there and watching the guys running. Number one, they're in shorts and sneakers. And they're running. And one of the guys puts up his hand, and I guess the drill master's running backwards. You know how they do. He run up by him. They talk for a minute. I said to this guy, I said, what are they doing? I said, he's asking for a timeout. I said, what do you mean a timeout? He said a timeout because, you know, they run around, they must run about a mile. I remember 15 miles in the morning with full combat gear on, singing.
Yes, sir.
How far? Gotta go.
I'm glad to be there.
Can't stop, won't stop, and all of that stuff.
Right.
Well, this is good. And now, do you have young people coming behind you, or is it going to be a continuation of the Soul Seekers?
Yeah. We just, we have not installed it yet, so that'd be a misstatement. But we have an acting pastor, Reverend Louis Yancey, and he's very much like Reverend Giles. He wants to get the youth program started at First Union again. He wants to utilize the internet. He wants to even change out Sunday teaching around to be able to affect what the young people like. And that's what we need in our churches today.
Oh, absolutely. And churches and our schools and every organization that you can think of needs to be doing something to teach these kids something, because right now they don't even know how to talk to each other.
And on that note, we were one of the first gospel groups, I mean, even the churches back in 1970s when the kids were being killed in Atlanta. We organized a program in the Richmond area, and I don't recall the amount of money that was sent, but we even raised money for that cause. Any good cause, that's what we're about.
Name Atlanta We Care.
Well, I'm going to ask you right on this TV then. You know that we're trying to start a martial arts program in Richmond and Henrico Public Schools. We have a school that's willing to let us do the trial, but we need to get financing for the students. We're not asking for a lot of money, and we're looking for organizations to adopt a kid, okay?
Speaking for myself, we will be glad to help. As the Soul Seekers, we will be more than glad to help. You'll have to go through Avon White, again, your friend, whom you already know, and he helps to organize all that through us, let you know what we can do and what we will do.
Okay, that's really nice.
It sounds like something we want to do. And Clarence is a part of us.
Yeah, okay. So I did a study, and Avon did a study, and you know, this anti-bullying and all that stuff. Putting the two together will solve that problem, and it'll also create some more leadership potential, because they'll learn self-respect, first of all. They'll learn respect for others. They'll learn humility, all right? And they'll learn courtesy and the bowing and the mutual respect, and they'll also learn how to fight without fighting.
All right.
Okay, and it works for the bully and the bullied. The kid that's being bullied will not be bullied anymore, and the guy that's the bully will not be a bully anymore. Their whole mindset shifts, and it's proven. Not only that, it'll help them academically, because in their training, they train with both sides of their brain.
Okay.
That's something people didn't know, but it's documented now. And this is not my great idea. This is being done in other school systems across the United States, and the results are phenomenal. The grade level goes up. The confusion in the school goes down. The bullying situation just completely disappears, and you find these youngsters really doing and being what youngsters should do and be, instead of all of this.
It comes down to one word. It's called structure.
Structure is exactly
one
right
thing is
there,
missing,
and
structure.
there is no structure. And you know, in my philosophical manner, I tie it all together when they first of all, they opened up the malls on Sunday.
Yes.
When they opened up the malls on Sundays, the kids started going to the mall and stopped going to church.
Yes.
Okay? Next thing they did was they came out with rap music. I said this on my show a couple of times. The king of the Zulu nation is a personal friend of ours. And we go over there quite a bit. We were at his birthday party 2 years ago.
All right.
And we have our Zulu names. I'm Sipho, my wife is Timbega.
All right.
And in Zulu land, you earn your names. They don't just give you, or you can't buy a name. You have to earn your name. So we earned our names. Mine was a gift from God. My wife is trustworthy because everything that she promised to do, she did. And the king said, "You're the only television," he says, "my brother, Sipho, you are the only television that brings good news out of Africa. And not only that, you're the only ones that teach Africans about Africa, because I sit in my palace and I see Ghana on tropical beat. He said, I see Benin on tropical beat. But the worst thing that America sent to us is BET. Okay?
Yeah.
And I had to think about that, and I started paying attention, you know, because when you're working and you run, you shoot, you don't really paying attention. Seeing the African boys with their pants down, okay, and et cetera. Worst thing that could happen.
Right.
And it was done on purpose, and that's what the community at large doesn't realize. This is all part of a plan, and I'm not talking about, you know, I'm not giving any kind of, what do you call that, theories, outer space theories or whatnot. But if you look at the fact that as soon as they stopped all of that and they started rap music, the jails went private.
Right.
Doesn't it seem like there's a correlation there?
Yeah,
somewhere?
because jail stock are the best stocks you can buy right now. Because they're private, because they're guaranteed to have a population.
And they can tell from the third grade.
Right.
If they're not passing writing skills in the third and fourth grade, that's an extra cell that they're building. And people don't realize that that's big business.
Right.
Now, I spoke down at the Richmond City Jail every Friday for over 5 years. And out of that, I could say that I did have an effect. I did touch people because I can see what they're doing now. And they don't have any problem saying, Mr. Coleman helped me do this, Mr. Coleman. And it makes me feel good to know that there are some results. But what makes me feel even better is that these guys are doing what I was doing.
Right.
Good, that's good.
Okay, so you create advocates. That's what you guys are doing in your Christian world.
And I hear what you say about the youth, teaching the youth not to fight. About Clarence already know about the situation, folks from your dojo. Mm-hmm. My granddaughter about 2 weeks ago, and I won't call the school name, got off the school bus. This young lady had been threatening to kill her. I get the telephone call. I'm in Holland Park. Granddaddy, come quick. They're trying to kill me. 15. They're trying to kill me. They're trying to kill me. I called, because I've had 2 to 3 heart attacks, so I called Henry County to meet me where the situation was going on. When we get there, we find out the young lady had been threatening her and bullying her every day for a couple of weeks now. We asked the school to look into it. I got a call from the school today because my granddaughter did get to fighting, and she did fight to protect herself. But the school is saying because she fought, they're still going to keep her out. And I just was informed by Gary that I need to go to the school board tomorrow morning. First of all, but what I wanted the youth out there know, and parents, we need to get our children in programs like your dojo. Right. We need to introduce our children to not fighting each other. And you know what I mean? They love to see us fighting each other. We need to learn to love each other and to pull one another up rather than to fight over things that they set us up to fight over. But my granddaughter right now, I'll be in Everett County school board office tomorrow morning, because they're not going to keep my granddaughter out of school for 10 days.
I've heard this situation. You're actually the second person to tell me about a situation like this in the last 3 months, okay? Another one of folks' friends called me up, and I put him with Joe Morris. You might want to go that route also, because he'll jump right on that. Because there's zero tolerance is perfect for the person that is instigating, not for the person that's defending themselves. You're not supposed to stand there and get beat down and then go in and say somebody beat me down, because you don't know how extreme that beating's going to be. And this girl's saying she's going to kill her.
And that's what I told the principal. Because of the film that they have, they sent my granddaughter for it. I said, I tell you, my granddaughter didn't fight. I teach my grandchildren not to fight, but protect yourself. Don't let nobody hurt you. But if you can, try to talk out of the situation or talk it down. But that particular day, she normally walks home with one of her friends. That day she was by herself.
And they took advantage
Right.
of it, see? So, see, what we teach our students, the first thing is leave me alone. The second thing is don't bother me. And the third thing is you're on the ground.
Protect yourself.
Exactly. Okay, now I had the same situation. Here we getting personal now. With my daughter. And I lived in Brooklyn. And there was a gang called the 5 Percenters. I don't know if you ever heard of them. It's offshoot of the black Muslims. Bunch of knuckleheads. And I'm saying it on television. If any of y'all are here, I'm saying it to you, you're a bunch of knuckleheads. But anyhow, they kept trying to, my daughter's pretty.
Okay.
And she kept telling the guy, no, she doesn't want to be bothered, this, that, and the other. So next thing you know, they start bullying her. Well, they don't know. I trained my daughter. Okay, my daughter's not one of these. My daughter's like this, okay? Went down. I went to the school. I spoke to the principal. The police officer on station went and got one of the individuals and brought him in, and he came in and sat on the principal's desk with his hat on.
I believe that.
Like this.
I believe it.
Like, and I said to the principal, can I speak to this young man? He said, sure. And I said, you know, you don't know what you're getting involved with, okay? Let me just tell you this. If you even dream about my daughter, when you wake up, it's gonna be, you woke up because I'll be beating you to death with your own arm, okay?
Right.
And what makes you think you can do something nobody else can do? I said, I didn't say I could do something nobody else can do. I said, but trust me, I can do it better.
All right.
Okay? And in those days, there was a Taurus hanging right here. And I went like that, and the police officer said, if you're gonna shoot him, can you take him across the street from the school?
Right.
Long story short, you know, a couple of weeks go by, Columbus Day weekend, I'm the president of the Veterans Association, 369th. We're going away for our meeting. I got the presidential suite at the Playboy Club and the whole bit. My daughter comes in the house. Daddy, they took my money and they said, tell your father this. So, okay. So, again, long story short, I got arrested.
But what we have to go through, I tell you, and we are, as I told the principal, you should be familiar with me because 20 years ago I had to go come here for my daughter. Now I'm here for my granddaughter.
What is with it with the girls now though? Are you seeing so much
Jealousy and the young lady's mother came up and got involved in the fight. It's a lot more that I don't want to say on TV that we know and have evidence of. But the young lady's mother came out and then called my granddaughter a project reject. And as I told my granddaughter, there's nothing wrong with growing up in the project. We have friends. Matter of fact, one of the soul seekers, I won't call his name, grew up in the projects. He's a principal. He's a school teacher. He has all kind of degrees. So don't belittle the people that grew up in the project. But I told my granddaughter, you know you didn't grow up in the project. Look at your clothes. Look at the yard up the street from you that they live in, and you know you're not project material. And what is project material? Some great people come out of the project.
Yes, absolutely.
Why do we degrade ourselves? Because some people can't help but come up in the project.
I lived in the projects.
And look at you.
In New York, the first 13 years of my marriage, we lived in the projects. But you know what? The project that I lived in New York, people were breaking their neck trying to get into because the schooling and everything else was some of the best that you could get. It was in Flushing, Queens. Okay? They're called the Palmernock houses. Anybody out there from New York that knows Flushing knows the Palmernock houses. That was the middle income project that people would go to. Where people's character is going to be a certain way based on the environment. All right, and here we go with a question. Hello, caller.
Yes, good afternoon, Ed and you gentlemen. We are
Good
enjoying
evening.
the show so much.
That's nice.
Really didn't want to call in. Don't want to miss no information. But most I'm going to make this quick. I'm so happy you are speaking on the issue of the women. Now, it's all about the black boys doing this and then they doing that fighting and all that. But the black girls, please. And not only the young ones, the senior citizens.
Yes.
The senior, the grandmamas.
They fight against each
Where
other.
all this hate coming from? Okay, I'm going to hang up now, Ed. Good
thank you for the call, too. And she's absolutely right. And you know, the media has so much to do.
The negative, that's what they want to show.
Well, here we go with my psychological
Go
stuff
ahead.
again. We were in the restaurant the other day. My daughter and I went to lunch. And the two of us are sitting there talking. And I said, Tandy, look over there. There was like 4 or 5 people at the dinner, having dinner.
Right.
Okay? Nobody talking to each other. The kids, we do it with dogs. We take dogs and we socialize them.
Right.
The kids are not being socialized.
No, not
So
at all.
they don't know how to have relationships, right?
Relationships.
Then they look at the way that this stuff is done or depicted on TV, and they think that's how they're supposed to act. Okay?
You're right.
So they start acting like that.
You know one sad fact about that whole thing with the finger
Mm.
is that they tried to do a survey one time with teenagers and actually ages 18 to 24 to see if they could do without the cell phone, without the texting for 24 hours.
Addicted.
75% could not make it. 75% could not make it through.
Addicted.
And so the thought pattern is gone.
Yeah.
They're not thinking, they're reacting to everything that they do.
Don't know how to think.
They're not thinking.
Don't know
Okay.
how.
Just like there's no communication, there's no thought process,
Right.
and their imagination.
Right.
They don't get to imagine.
I agree.
They don't. They have no imagination. So now they look at one of these movies and they see everybody go out and shoot everybody up, and they think, "Oh, that's how you do it." Boom, 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 boom. I was at the rifle range last week, over on Midlothian.
Okay.
Took my niece. Her daughter got killed. Pretty sad situation. Stabbed to death. 3 o'clock in the morning. Right. She wanted to learn how to shoot. Went and got a carry permit and whatnot. So I said, I'll teach you the right way to shoot. So we're at the range, her and my cousin. Next door to us, the next stall over, boom, boom, boom. I look over, there's 3 young black men, and a little guy must have been 13 or 14. Why he was even in there, I don't know. They have a shotgun, and they're just blasting away with this shotgun. The target is as close to me as that camera is.
Right.
Now, why are you practicing shooting with a shotgun that close?
What are we teaching our children?
Right.
All right? And they're having fun. They're laughing and joking and just having a ball, and I'm worrying about one of them making a mistake and shooting my way. Yeah. But why is that so important? Okay? Now, we grew up as kids. I'm sure y'all did too. We grew up with our fathers teaching us how to handle firearms.
Right.
The safety factor was hammered in, okay?
Right.
I never had any of my friends get shot like that or shoot themselves by accident or anything like that. I did have one that committed suicide, but he felt like it was time for him to do. I don't hold it against him. I was mad at him when he did it.
Right.
But this to these kids is fun. They don't understand that you don't get back up.
They watch the video games. My son, he's guilty. They watch the video games. They'll play it. They'll play it. They'll play it. And like you said, they don't realize death is real. When this piece of flesh lay down and there's no more breath in it, there's no getting up. We need to teach them somehow love. And for those of us that believe in God or have God in our life, God is a spirit, and He's a spirit of love. So if we're going to teach love to our children, along with how not to fight, but teach them to protect themselves, like you said.
And other people.
Right.
And that's the way.
So I hope you're there. You're listening. What we got to do? We got to take our kids back.
You know what the problem though is with shows like this? We'll sit here and we'll talk and we'll make a whole lot of sense. The people that should be watching us are not watching.
They're not watching.
Okay. Now, hopefully, as the lady said when she just called, people will take some of what they hear and maybe spread it out someplace else. But I say that I've been speaking to groups and dealing with youngsters for over 50 years. And that started because I have a younger sister and brother, 10 and 11 years younger than me. Mom and dad work, you know. So,
but we're removing so much. We're removing so much from them that we have to put it back in. And I'll give you an example. I'm a farmer, okay? So I go with Virginia State University, and we went down to North Carolina A&T. And we went to North Carolina A&T. What they did there, they showed us all things all over the farm. And they had these hogs. And I said, well, what does they learn about a hog? A hog doesn't do anything but eat, reproduce, and reproduce. Well, they have a 10-year ongoing study on hogs because they have factory hogs living about an 8x4, and the only thing they do is have babies, all right? And they live in it for 50 years. They've been doing this. The mother hog will have the babies, clean them off, and grunt, and the pigs will come to her and start the nursing. They take that same hog out of their little factory, put it outside. When she has babies, she'll keep walking. The babies will fall on the ground. She won't turn around and pick them up because they have removed the gene from nurturing from the mother hog. So what are we taking by letting our kids do this all day long? What are we stealing from them? We have to put back in. The same thing applies. We so long playing with nature, we're removing the thought process from our kids. So now our kids can't think. We have to spend years. They figure 10 years to get that gene back in that hog so to do what it's supposed to do naturally.
Isn't that amazing?
So the same thing goes with that. What are we taking from our kids?
That analogy is perfect. You just said it all right there.
Right.
You just said it all. I hope you folks are listening out there. This makes a lot of sense. It's something that we probably need to do a little bit more investigating.
Yeah. Right.
But the fact that you guys are doing what you do and putting your effort out, you can't do it all.
No.
You know, but as long as you're doing as much as you can, you see, and that's what most people don't realize, you know, and you know it, how far, all the way, and then some, okay? You have to put that push. Now, when I talk to the guys in jail, well, the first thing I say is, who you doing the time for? If you're doing the time for the state, that means all you're doing is just doing time. But if you're in here, you got the time, why don't you use the time?
Right.
Do the time for yourself. Guess what? Richmond City Jail has the higher marking curve on GEDs than the city of Richmond.
All right.
Wow.
Because the education program that was set up out there. I worked in that program. A couple of really good people started that program and have put years into it. And the results you can see. Now, high school diplomas. I know of 2,400 guys that went through and got their GEDs, and that has led them on and on. And there's a group, the guys are probably watching tonight, called Roots, Reinventing Ourselves Outside of the System. They've been on my show many times. I've been on doing this for over 5 years now.
All right.
So I've had them on quite a few times. But what they're doing, again, they have become advocates. Okay, I go out on the street corner and talk, the guy's gonna look at me like a jerk. Okay, but someone that just came out and has that rep, that street rep, now he's talking to you. Makes sense. Hello, caller?
Hi, I'm enjoying the show, but I just need your guest to recap exactly what they're doing. I heard you say, you know, they need to do more of what they're doing, and you're glad of what they're doing. But I just wanted to hear again what they're doing.
Okay, that's a
And
good.
perhaps they could, you know, some of us could become a part of that.
That's good. Okay, caller, thank you.
I'll share first. The name of the group is the Soul Seekers of Mechanicsville. We are a gospel singing group, but we get involved with neighborhood projects, not just where we're from, Mechanicsville, Virginia, but we get involved in Richmond and the surrounding counties. We help to raise money for health situations. We get involved in anything to raise money, as long as it's not to raise money to put in your pocket. For any worthwhile cause, we will get involved. Gary, you tell about some of the causes that we get involved in.
Well, one of the main causes we got involved in a few years ago was the African American male health program, which
Prostate cancer.
well, not just prostate cancer, but the program where they start the screening it, and they have it every year at the last year had at the arena. We were instrumental in helping get that program off and started because we work with the BGC, we work with the American Cancer Association, the American Heart Association, and we were able to bring in people. And what happened was in Norfolk they only had 50 people to show up. But because we were out spreading the word all around, all over the state and everywhere, when they did in Richmond, we had 500 people to show up.
Outstanding.
500, and the number's been remaining 500 to 600 every year.
Now, when is it going to happen again?
Normally happens in the fall. We haven't had it yet this year. I'm not sure when it happened this year.
Uh-huh.
But that was one of the things. But our big push has been for the last few years been prostate cancer, because 4 members of our group have had prostate cancer, and one is not completely cancer free, but you have to. The big thing is men. You have to get
Early
checked.
detection.
Have to get checked. We push it and push it and push it, and we talk to a lot of men who will not get checked. They just won't get checked. We don't understand it. I got checked. I found out I had it, and I did something about it because I got checked because of the soul seekers, because of this group and men in the group having it, and talking to me and talking to other people. I understood that I had to get checked, And I got checked. My PSA, or prostate-specific antidote, was low. But I still got checked because if you have cancer, here's one thing people know. If your family has breast cancer, your parents, your mother, grandma have breast cancer, there's a good chance that the males may have prostate cancer.
Yeah.
All these cancers are intertwined. So
and they're all in our system. All of
the
early detection
is in our system.
And if your father had prostate cancer, you stand about a 75 to 90% chance of getting it. We also work with Oscar, which is sickle cell. But one of our members had sickle cell, and we work with Oscar. We used to go sing to them at Christmas time. And we have to work with these medical problems, medical situations, bringing forth awareness. And getting back to prostate cancer, a lot of people don't realize that even though October is breast cancer month, September is prostate cancer.
And I didn't know that.
A lot of people don't know that.
I would have had it on the show.
September. We know next year. We'll be back next year, September.
That's the deal. Okay, that's the deal.
They did not know.
But now you mentioned that. I had the two ladies on from the sisters.
I saw them.
All right, Barbara Brown and Brenda Archer. But what you're saying almost echoes the same thing they were saying about survivors being able to be the motivators to make people go because you have the experience.
Right.
Okay.
A test for the testimony.
Now, in my case, you're preaching to the choir because I go get tested. I'm loving this life that God gave me.
Get your sons, your
my
husbands,
son
your
is the biggest
nephews.
Knucklehead when it comes down to medicine. He's 48 years old.
Early
and
detection.
Guess what? He knows everything.
My son, same way.
Okay. But now he just had a bout of pneumonia, and I think he finally learned that you do have to deal with the doctors because it scared him. That one scared him. He had pneumonia really bad. And Eddie, when you watch the show, I'm talking about you. All right? Go to the doctor. And I have another friend of mine who is very educated. In fact, he has a musical ministry. Frank Abel is his name. I don't know if you ever ran across him. He does choir and all of that stuff. And he's also the musical director for Main Ingredient and Grace Jones. That's who was playing that music that came on when it first started. He's had a hip replacement and he's had a shoulder replacement. He has a calcium buildup on his spinal column. So when he sent me the x-rays of it, being that I'm Dr. Coleman now with all the stuff that I've had, I showed it to my wife's cousin who's head of radiology for George Washington Hospital.
Oh, yeah.
And who knows my buddy. He looked at it. He said, tell him to get a laser treatment right now, or otherwise his whole right arm is going to atrophy.
Right.
Wow.
Do you know that he hasn't been yet? And he's telling me about how much his arm hurts, and it's starting to get numb.
Early detection.
What are you waiting for? And he's going to see this and get mad too. Get mad, I don't care.
Right. You don't have to die from it. You don't have to die from it.
That's it, at all. And you don't have to, you love playing the piano. And you're telling me that your fingers are getting numb and you're not going to do something about it? Back! So,
find out what's causing it, right.
Well, we're on the wind down. I gotta tell you, when Avon and Clarence were talking about, because I came to your show. You know, you did the show out there for your 50th anniversary.
Right.
Oh, yeah.
And that's...
Had the Nightingales there. Matter of fact, they're going to be in Richmond soon for their 80th anniversary, and they requested to the promoters that we be there.
That the kids come, huh?
So we're going to be there.
80 years?
Yeah, the Nightingales, sensational Nightingales of North Carolina.
Yeah.
And they're going to be doing that sometime soon.
Hey, you know something, though, you probably, because I remember hearing them when I was a little kid. I remember hearing them when I was a little kid, yeah.
They and Sam Cooke and the Soul Stirrers.
Circle, yeah.
That's what got my interest in gospel music. And we formed, starting out on a talent show in 1963, a youth talent show. So look out for your children.
All these years.
Yeah. Right.
And let's see about getting some of these programs back into the churches again. You guys are around the church. And you know, you have another group. You have a group of young ministers.
Yes, we do.
That are coming along now, and I'm gonna be like Bazin. Yeah, I said it. Okay, who are more Christian than some of the more business-like ministers that we have around? And you know, you're hearing all the stories about this preacher got caught doing that, this preacher got caught doing that.
That's the negative.
Right.
But,
okay, it's time for these preachers
positive
to start really being who they're supposed to be. And you know, you see a preacher with an example of that. What is that kid that's going to his church wind up thinking?
Right.
Okay, well, it was okay for him. It was okay for me. I want you guys to close out with your website. Tell us your website again.
Gary?
It's thesoulseekers.mechanicsville.org. Remember, it's the Soul Seekers of Mechanicsville because there are a lot of soul seekers out there. We are the Soul Seekers of Mechanicsville.
Okay, you got that. The. Make sure you put the Soul Singers
Of Mechanicsville.
Mechanicsville.org. O-R-G. All right. Also, we want you to, if you're going to flip through the internet, make sure you go to the Henrico Dojo.
Amen.
And check out our program over there. And if anybody out there wants to help a student, pay a scholarship for a student, it's $100 a month per student. That includes 2 weeks, 2 training sessions a week. Talk to anybody, that's a good deal.
Oh, yes.
And once they join the 2 sessions at the school, they're also allowed to come on their own time to the dojo. So you have a real program there, and we encourage the parents and the adults to come in also, either to participate or to observe and pick up on some of this stuff that we're teaching, and it's good stuff. I just turned 70 years old.
Man.
Okay, and I can tell you that I would not be in this shape or look like I do if it wasn't for all of that. And I get along pretty good with people too.
That's all right.
I enjoyed you guys.
I
Glad
enjoyed
to have
being
you on
here.
the
Clarence
show.
Breaks on you.
Nice, and I'm sure now that we met, we're going to be meeting
See you again.
Oh, yeah. We're going
And,
to work with you on those kids stuff.
That's good. That's good.
We'll sponsor a kid for you.
Outstanding. That would really be great, and that'll get the ball rolling. Okay. Well, we did a nice job tonight, guys. Again, when I come back on again, I get 6 weeks periodically. Next time I have my 6 weeks, I'm going to have you back on.
Thank you.
And maybe we can set it up in here so that you guys can do a performance. You think we could work that out?
We'll see
We
what happens.
love to sing.
Okay. Thank you, folks, for tuning in. Make sure you tune in to me next week. I have a real surprise for you next week. We're going back to the military. I think I have some Buffalo soldiers going to
All
come
right.
in
All right.
and talk about some of the historical side of us old dudes. And I think it'll be a kind of interesting show. All right. Meanwhile, tune in next week, same time, same station, as they say. And I do want to get some comments on my theme song. I tell you that that's my buddy Frank
All right.
and myself, and that's going to be, we're doing music now. Our new contract is to do music for TV shows and and movies. That's why that sounds like a chase scene almost.
All right.
Okay.
I don't know if you picked up on that. It's an action thing. I might even start doing a different one every week because we have about 25 of them that we're ready to go with. But again, thanks for watching. Watch me next week. Peace.
Come from. Folk go to church and like to have a good time. I can remember when a soul came to Christ and was baptized, the old deacon would get up off the bench and he'd come out and sing a song that sounds like this. Say, Lord, I'm glad I've been sanctified. Lord, I'm glad. Yes, sir, I've been sanctified. Yes, I have. I've been filled with the fire, Lord, and I know I've been baptized. Lord, I'm glad I've been sanctified. Say, Lord, I'm glad I've been saved. Lord, saw they would go. Said, Lord, I'm glad I've been sanctified. Look here. I've been sanctified. I've been sanctified. I've been sanctified. I've been sanctified. I don't know about you. I've been sanctified. Let me tell you about me. I've been sanctified. Late one Tuesday evening, I've been sanctified. My God picked me up. I've been sanctified. Then he turned me all around. I've been sanctified. Then he placed my feet. I've been sanctified. Said he placed them on a solid ground. I've been sanctified. 'Cause he sanctified.